Microsoft has started their early preview of their Xcloud game streaming service, and luckily, I got in and can start playing, messing around with it. So we're gonna take a look at how well it runs. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with this, Xcloud is Microsoft's upcoming service where you can play games on your phone by connecting to their servers. You don't have to own an Xbox, you just have to have the actual specific games, and then you can play them on the go with your phone. Now, because this is a preview, there are a couple limitations. I can only use it on Android devices, and I can only make use of Xcloud. I cannot make use of game streaming. Game streaming is where you're playing games remotely from your own Xbox. Xcloud in this case is connecting to Microsoft servers. Plus, it's worth especially emphasizing, this is a preview, this is a test phase. Part of using this is that you're constantly being asked, how well is it working? What can we improve on? All kinds of feedback kind of stuff. So how it's working right now is not necessarily indicative of how the final version is going to be, for better or hopefully not worse. So let's check it out. By the way, we got a bunch of new stuff available on our merch store that you can check out down below in the description, including this new shirt design. It also comes in a mug and sticker. If you want to check any of that out, we also have a coupon code that gives you 15% off. That is Genesis. So make sure to check out the link down below. So the setup right now is really simple. We've got our phone hooked up to a clip connected to our Xbox One controller, which is connected to the phone. And you launch the Xbox game streaming app, and then once it's up, we're immediately connected to Xcloud. For now, since this is a preview, it's a pretty limited list of games. There's just 4, in fact. We can do Gears of War 5, Halo 5, Killer Instinct, or Sea of Thieves. So to start, I'm just gonna mess around with Gears 5. Now I should note that when you're first loading up a game, there is a bit of setup time involved, just kind of waiting for it to set up for the stream. But once it's actually up and running, you can leave the app to go do other things, or leave it be for a little bit, and come back, and you can still jump into the game without that setup time, because it's still resuming that same previous connection. Only if you fully quit or leave it idle long enough are you going to have to go through that setup phase all over again. Now, of course, with something like this, a very huge determinant is not only how well the service is being run, but also the internet connection that you have yourself. So if you're playing and you don't have very good Wi-Fi, even if the service itself works great, your Wi-Fi can limit you to not being able to run games nearly as smoothly, maybe take a hit in the resolution, or possibly worse, having a laggy input. So hopefully our internet is strong enough for this to all be nice and smooth. Yeah, visually so far, all of this looks great. I'm curious to see once we're actually in game, but as far as menus and just image quality goes, it looks awesome. Frame rate looks pretty good. I am seeing the resolution dip a little bit, but it still looks great on the phone especially. Smaller screens help. You don't have to have quite as high of a resolution to make it still stay looking good. So far, just kind of doing a little bit of initial testing right now. Image looks good, frame rate looks solid. I am seeing, again, like the resolution dips a little bit if a lot of stuff's going on, but again, that also kind of depends on how strong the internet connection is. Now, I will say where we're set up right now is actually one of the kind of weaker internet spots in our office. And while the image looks good right now, once a lot of stuff starts getting hectic, I am seeing a little more resolution drop. I wonder if we move to another place, if that's gonna help it smooth out a lot more. Okay, so we've changed locations, should be a little smoother now. Visually, this is a lot better. We're not getting nearly the same kind of resolution drop we were noticing earlier. This is definitely a great example of how internet connection has a major impact on your experience with a service like this. I mean, this is true of whether you're using Xcloud or Google Stadia in the future, even PlayStation 4 Remote Play. You need to have a good internet connection to make sure that the experience is actually gonna be fluid. Oh no, oh no. Help me up, help me up. Oh, we're screwed. Let's try a different game real quick. So we've been doing sweet quit game. So by quitting game, this is actually fully quitting the connection to it, and then we'll have to reset up for any other kind of game we want to play. Let's go ahead and jump into Halo. All right, so we've got Halo loading up right now. This actually does feel a lot more responsive. Yeah, wow. In general, this one's actually running a lot better than Gears. Now, part of that might be because Halo 5 is an older game and thus is not quite as graphically intense as Gears 5, but we're definitely seeing really nice smooth frame rates. I mean, this is definitely going 60 right now. Not that Gears 5 was like bad, but it felt me wanting a little more. This feels good. So, this one's actually running a lot better right now on our Wi-Fi. Something worth noting is that with this, you are supposed to be able to also just play straight over cellular if you'd like. Obviously, there's other problems that come up with that, like the fact that you're using your cellular data, but let's go ahead and swap over and see how well that works by comparison. So I'm gonna turn off my Wi-Fi connection. So now we're going off of cellular connection, which by kind of just assumption should be a bit worse than going off of your Wi-Fi. Usually it's gonna be a little slower. Let's see if that's having any kind of noticeable impact. Graphics still look really good though. Motion's really smooth. Now it's worth noting that by default, the Xcloud app does not allow you to use cellular data. You have to turn that on in the settings, which is kind of more for your protection really, because you don't want to accidentally be playing on cellular, not realizing it, and then all of a sudden blow through your data plan. So let's go ahead and test one other game real quick. I'm gonna put Wi-Fi back on. And I really just want to see if there is a difference again in that input delay. Let's go to Killer Instinct. Fighting games are something where input lag is going to be really noticeable, because if I hit the punch button and he doesn't punch for a moment, you can tell. Something I neglected to mention earlier that is really cool about this, that it's showing right away, is that Xcloud does use your Xbox profile. So any progress you've made in a game playing on your system carries over to playing on Xcloud. It's still going to use that same kind of save syncing. So if you've been playing something at home and you decide you want to play it a little more on the go with Xcloud, you can continue the same save file, which is awesome. Let's just do a quick little training match. I'm just really, for this one, I just want to see the input delay. That's actually super immediate. This feels seamless. This one, this feels like I'm just playing it directly on the phone. This actually is a great sign to me, because if they can get this game to run this smoothly and seamlessly, that means that everything else down the line has that opportunity. Again, preview, so everything's kind of still catching up and they're figuring things out, but this gives me a lot of hope. All things considered, I am really happy with how this preview has turned out for Xcloud. The service as it is right now is not exactly flawless, but that's the entire point of a test period. These are things that are going to get worked on as time goes on, and based on the best experience I've had with it, that is exactly where I want it to be. Something else worth considering too is that everything available in the preview right now is very dependent on having as little input lag as possible. I mean, we're talking about 2 first-person view games, a third-person shooter, and a fighting game. All titles where having the least amount of travel time between when you hit a button and what happens on screen is crucially important. There are a lot more games out there where it's really not as big of a deal, and I think those are the ones that set themselves up perfectly for situations like this. And the fact that something like Killer Instinct has that near seamless experience, I think sets up that even in those cases where input lag is of the most importance, they're going to be able to get it to that level. One of the biggest things about my experience with it so far though is that it really sells me on the concept of the benefits behind cloud gaming. I think for some people there's this aspect of that's going to become their only way of experiencing playing games, which I think is a cool, valid, awesome experience. But for me, I love this concept of I'm really into a big hit game that comes out, I'm soaking tons of hours into it, and then something comes up one way or the other where I need to go somewhere, I need to travel, there's something interrupting, and I've got that downtime where I can't play it on my Xbox obviously, but hey, now I can take that experience and take it with me on the go when need be, and that is amazing. You know, and I gotta say, after spending a full day with it, trying all the games and trying it in different locations, different circumstances, I have to say that the internet connection you have definitely has a major impact on how the experience is, but when the conditions are just right, it is an immaculate experience. This preview has done exactly what I think it needed to, in that it is selling on the basic concept of how this is going to work, and I am so excited to see how the final product turns out.